Welcome back, deep divers. Today we're diving into something pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah,
Can we teach machines to think like us? Like really think.
it's a big question. Yeah,
Huge. And you guys sent us some research that might have the answer.
I think it might.
Straight from DeepSeek-AI.
Oh,
It's called DeepSeek-R1.pdf, and it dives into how they're using something called reinforcement learning
oh yeah. Reinforcement learning is,
to push AI further than we've ever seen.
it's really exciting stuff.
Imagine AI that can solve problems.
And
That's
strategize.
Yeah, and maybe even start to understand the world a little more like we do.
Okay, so before we go any further,
Sure.
remind me, what are large language models again?
LLMs.
LLMs, yeah.
You got it.
And why is this whole reasoning thing such a big deal?
LLMs, they're like really sophisticated programs that can understand and generate text just like us humans.
Okay.
They're already doing amazing things like powering chatbots and translation tools.
I use those all the time.
But the real holy grail is getting them to think logically, like actually solve problems the way we do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where reinforcement learning, or RL, comes in.
Okay.
It's like rewarding the AI every time it takes a step in the right direction.
So like training a puppy with treats.
Pretty much. But instead of treats, we're feeding the AI data.
Makes sense.
And what's really cool about DeepSeek's approach is that they're going all in on RL.
Okay.
Their DeepSeek-R1 model was trained entirely using RL.
Wow. So no hand-holding, no human-labeled data.
Nope. They basically threw it in the deep end and said, figure it out.
You're kidding. And what happened?
It swam. Not only did it learn to reason on its own, it developed these really sophisticated behaviors,
Like what?
like double-checking its work.
Seriously?
Yeah. And creating long chains of logical thought, just like a human would.
That's incredible. Did they actually see this happening, like, in real time?
They did. There's this section in the paper where they describe this aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
During training, they saw the model spontaneously learning to allocate more thinking time to tougher problems.
It was like taking a step back.
Yeah, like it was saying, hold on, let me think about this differently.
That gives me chills. So it's thinking on its feet, just like we do when we're trying to solve a puzzle.
Exactly. And this shift in its thinking led to a massive jump in its performance,
Uh-huh.
especially on these really challenging reasoning benchmarks like the AEME 2024 math competition.
Wow. So we're not just talking about crunching numbers here.
No.
This AI is approaching problem solving in a way that's eerily similar to human intuition.
I know, it's pretty wild.
So if DeepSeek R10 is all about the power of pure reinforcement learning, what about DeepSeek R1? What makes it different?
Well, DeepSeek R10 was a huge breakthrough,
Right.
but it had kind of a communication problem.
Really?
Its thought processes, although effective, were a little messy and hard for us humans to follow.
So it's like a brilliant scientist who can solve any equation but can't explain their work to anyone else.
Exactly. And that's where DeepSeek R1 comes in. They added in this cold start phase where they gave the model some initial training with human-curated data.
Ah, so kind of like giving it a cheat sheet to organize its thoughts.
You could say that, yeah. And it worked. DeepSeek R1 was able to perform really well on all sorts of tasks, from math problems to generating computer code.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this training process. It sounds like they combined a few different approaches.
They did. It's a multi-stage process.
Okay.
They started with that cold start phase we talked about, where they focused on teaching it to think clearly and logically, using well-structured data that's easy for humans to understand.
Makes sense.
Then they shifted to a more intense, reasoning-oriented reinforcement learning stage, where the AI really had to flex its mental muscles and solve a ton of reasoning problems.
So it's like a boot camp for AI.
Yeah, kind of. And then to make sure it could handle a variety of tasks, they used a technique called rejection sampling and supervised fine-tuning.
Ooh, that sounds complicated.
It's like taking a student who aced their math tests, but needs some help with essay writing.
Ah, I see.
This stage helped DeepSeek R1 become more well-rounded and capable of tackling lots of different challenges.
Gotcha. So what was the final stage?
The final stage was all about making sure it could not only solve problems, but also communicate its solutions clearly.
Ah, so it's not enough to just be a genius.
Right, you got to be able to explain your genius to the rest of us.
Exactly.
They called this reinforcement learning for all scenarios. And it was like the final exam where it had to prove it could apply its knowledge and skills to any situation.
So they wanted to make sure it could be a math genius, a poet, a programmer, all rolled into one.
You got it.
Oh.
They wanted to create a truly versatile and powerful AI system, and the results, Well, they were remarkable.
I bet. Okay, spill the beans. How did DeepSeek-R1 actually perform? Did it live up to all the hype?
Oh, you better believe it, but we'll have to save that for after the break.
You're killing me. All right, deep divers will be back in a flash to break down the performance of DeepSeek-R1 and see how it stacks up against the competition. Stay tuned.
Okay, sounds good.
So DeepSeek-AI put a lot of work into this DeepSeek-R1, but did it pay off?
Yeah, they put it through a ton of tests.
Like a real gauntlet.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Knowledge code generation, math, even general language understanding, they really tested everything.
Did it pass?
DeepSeek-R1 didn't just pass, it aced the tests. In a lot of these benchmarks, it either matched or beat the performance of some of the leading models out there.
Like what kind of models?
OpenAI's O1 series, even DeepSeek's own previous model, DeepSeek V3.
So this is the top of the line.
Oh yeah, this thing is the real deal.
Can it do anything practical, though? Like, could it help me with my coding projects?
For sure. On Codeforces, which is the platform where coders compete against each other.
Yeah, I've heard.
DeepSeek-R1 got a rating of 2029 that puts it in the 96.3rd percentile of human participants.
Wait a second. So you're telling me this AI is a better coder than almost all humans?
It's getting there, for sure. But what's even crazier is that DeepSeek-AI figured out how to distill all that reasoning power into smaller, more efficient models.
Okay, now that's interesting. Efficiency is key, especially when we're talking about AI. How did they manage to shrink it down without losing all that brain power?
They use a technique called distillation. Basically, they trained smaller open-source LLMs, like Qwen and Llama, to mimic DeepSeek-R1's behavior.
So like a mini-me version.
Exactly, but still super powerful.
Okay, but can these smaller versions actually keep up?
Even the smallest model they distilled, DeepSeek-R1 distilled Qwen 7b, it actually outperformed non-reasoning models like GPT-400513 on a whole bunch of reasoning tasks.
Wow, so we could see this tech being used in all sorts of places.
Oh yeah, definitely. From education to scientific research, it's a game changer.
It's like giving everyone access to a team of super smart assistants.
Yeah, right. But even with all these successes, the DeepSeek team was really upfront about what didn't work in their research.
That's unusual. Why highlight the failures?
Well, it shows they're committed to the science,
Oh, yeah.
They're not trying to just hype up the results, they're sharing the whole story.
So what were some of the approaches that didn't work out?
One thing they tried was using process reward models, or PRMs,
Oh, okay.
to guide the AI's reasoning process. Like having a coach give you feedback while you're practicing. But they found the PRMs were hard to scale up and often led to the AI gaming the system.
So it figured out how to cheat without actually learning anything?
Pretty much. They also tried something called Monte Carlo tree search, or MCTS.
Isn't that used in game playing AI?
Yeah, like AlphaGo.
Yeah.
The idea was to have the AI explore different reasoning paths and find the best solutions, but they ran into some problems.
What kind of problems?
Language is so complex compared to a game like chess or Go. There's just too many possibilities for the AI to explore. It became impractical.
So even the best minds hit roadblocks sometime.
Exactly. And by sharing those roadblocks, DeepSeek-AI is actually helping the whole field of AI research.
It's a good reminder that everyone makes mistakes, even geniuses.
For sure. So we've talked about the training process, the performance benchmarks.
Right.
Now the big question, man, what does this all mean for the future? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, what's next?
The possibilities are endless. Imagine AI helping us solve complex scientific problems, discover new drugs, even write better software than humans can.
So healthcare, scientific discovery, even art and entertainment could all be revolutionized.
Absolutely. It's not just about specific applications, though. It's about how we think about AI.
How so?
We're moving away from seeing AI as just a tool and more towards a collaborator, a partner in solving problems.
That's a big shift. It makes you wonder if we're entering a whole new era of human-AI interaction.
I think we are. And this DeepSeek-R1 research is a window into that future. It shows AI can be more than just a machine. It can reason, learn, and even surprise us with its creativity.
It's exciting and a little scary at the same time.
It is. But with all this potential comes a lot of responsibility.
What do you mean?
What happens when AI can not only think like us, but also learn and adapt much faster than us? What does that mean for jobs and the economy, even our understanding of what it means to be human?
Those are some deep questions.
They are. And we need to start asking them now before this technology gets too advanced.
So this research is a wake-up call.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we need to be having these conversations now while we still can.
I think everyone should read this DeepSeek-R1.pdf paper. It's like a roadmap to the future of AI.
Absolutely. It'll definitely make you think differently about the world.
All right, so we've just scratched the surface of this research, but before we wrap things up, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What stood out to you?
Well, for me, it's that aha moment. It's like the AI suddenly woke up. It realized it needed to change its approach, and its performance just exploded. That's not just processing power. That's something much deeper.
You're right. It's like it gained a new level of understanding, and it makes you wonder what other human-like abilities are out there just waiting to be unlocked. Could we see AI that's creative, intuitive, maybe even empathetic?
It's definitely a possibility. And that's what's so fascinating about this research. It's not just a cool tech demo. It's a glimpse into a future where AI plays a much bigger role in our lives.
And it's our responsibility to shape that future. We need to ask the tough questions and make sure we're developing this technology in a way that benefits everyone.
I completely agree. This paper is a great starting point.
Hmm.
It's full of insights that will make you think differently about the world around you.
Definitely. So for all you deep divers out there, make sure to check out DeepSeek-R1.pdf. It's a must-read for anyone who wants to understand the future of AI.
It's a fascinating look into what might be possible.
What doors does this open for you? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep diving deep. So we've just scratched the surface of this research, but before we wrap things up, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What stood out to you?
Well, for me, it's that aha moment. Like the AI suddenly woke up.
Yeah.
It realized it needed to change its approach, and boom, its performance just exploded.
It's like a light bulb went off.
Yeah, and that's not just processing power. That's something much deeper.
You're right. It's like it gained a whole new level of understanding. And it makes you wonder what other human-like abilities are out there, just waiting to be unlocked.
Yeah.
Could we see AI that's creative, intuitive, maybe even empathetic?
It's definitely a possibility,
Yeah.
and that's what makes this research so fascinating. It's not just a cool tech demo.
Yeah.
It's a glimpse into a future where AI plays a much bigger role in our lives.
And it's up to us to figure out what that role is going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to ask the tough questions and make sure we're developing this technology in a way that benefits everyone.
So this paper, it's a call to action in a way,
I think so. It's a reminder that we need to be having these conversations now.
while we still can.
Exactly. So for all you deep divers out there, check out DeepSeek-R1.pdf. It's a must-read if you want to understand the future of AI.
It's a dense read, but it's worth the effort. It'll make you think differently about the world around you.
Yeah, for sure.
What doors does this open for you? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep diving deep.